or this is practically the same thing as Moonlight. That's a hilarious double feature. I would say they're night and day, but someone would take that the wrong fucking way. It's the funniest double feature I've had since The Letters and Spotlight. We've got a lot to talk about on this, and I know we'll end up forgetting something.
Yeah,
We forgot to talk about Paul last time, which is slightly fucking appropriate. Because the running joke is that everyone forgets he's a thing that exists.
And he is still a thing that people are forgetting exists in this one.
He's mentioned in it. He's mentioned by name.
Gets a cameo mention.
Yeah, he gets the cameo mention. Tristan makes an appearance in this before Rory's boyfriend of Winter.
Who they mentioned in Winter have been dating for 2 years at this point. Mm-hmm. So now, 2 years plus, like...
She's got better chemistry with Logan. So there comes a part in this when they go back to Chilton, and you see, like, Headmaster Charleston. You see, of course, Paris is there as well. You see the leader of the Puffs. And... a double for Tristan, a character who has not been referenced since he was written out. They couldn't.
He's just gone now, so we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about him. Like doing a reunion of Parks and Rec and having a stand-in for Brandanowitz. So I looked at you and we're sitting up there watching it, and I'm like. And it's like, oh, look, there's Tristan. And I just go, no shit. And I was like, I was not expecting that. Laura's sitting there and goes, who is that again? I'm like, oh, it's your favorite character. She hates Tristan. Then I looked at you and was like, did they really get Chad Michael Murray for 2 seconds?
And I had to pull it up to check because so far everybody else, is back. And they keep having random special guest stars.
Yeah.
So it's fuck, maybe it is. I don't know, maybe they filmed more and that's all they kept or something.
I said
know.
to you, I was like, it could be. The last thing I saw him in, I think, was fucking Left Behind, so it could be. No, they got a Tristan stand-in. It literally says that on this guy's IMDb.
He's like Tristan Double.
Tristan Double. They just had him there. Max Medina didn't show up, but there's a double playing Tristan. I was waiting. I was like, is Max Medina going to show up in here somewhere? No.
Well, especially because, so far, not a tremendous amount through the winter chapter, but here in the spring chapter, they make a lot of references and, allude to a lot of events that happened in season 1.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I was thinking oh, Medina could show up because the last winter had Chris Eichman show up for a scene. And Chris Eichman was another character who was just kind of gone. His character, he didn't really just kind of straight up disappear. Well, he did kind of sort because he leaves when he comes back to tell Lorelai he wants to be with her, but then she goes with Luke instead, and then it was bye for Chris Eichman for the rest of the series.
Hey, bye.
See ya.
You made your choice. I'll just buck up out of here.
I'm gonna buck off and date someone else who I make sleep in another bedroom. I liked seeing Chris Eichman back, honestly. I always liked that guy.
Well, and it felt natural, it
did.
For that scene with it being Richard's, funeral,
it's why else wouldn't he be?
Makes
why
sense.
wouldn't he be there?
That was the common kind of threads. I'm yeah, it makes sense.
And if Medina showed up at Chilton, that would have made perfect sense.
Yeah, because the point behind that whole scene was they were doing an alumni day for past alums to come and speak to their experiences at Chilton and stuff like that. So it would have made perfect sense for a returning faculty member to swing by. It's yeah, I was in the neighborhood. I knew it was alum day. I figured I'd come in, see if I recognized anybody, say hey, And
I'm Max Medina. Everyone loves Max Medina.
Max Medina.
It's fucking Max Medina.
But yeah, like I said, like with all the allusions that they had to like the first season, like it would have made sense. Like if anyone was gonna show up, like yeah, he was a very like prominent character. Mm-hmm. But no, instead we got like the back of Tristan's head while he's like talking to some like high school girl.
Look at the back of Tristan's head. Military school taught him nothing. We get the back of Tristan's head. We get one of the best scenes in there with Paris quoting Stalin, which was amazing.
Starting it off like, no, I don't normally quote Joseph Stalin. I mean, he's a psychopath. Like, his policies killed millions, but I found some of his words inspiring. It's like, fuck me.
God, she is so good. She's also on Bunheads. Not as Paris, but the actors, although that, yeah.
Not watching it now.
But, we did have, one of the best appearances in it. They got Jason Mantzoukas in here.
Finally got Mantzoukas on the show.
Yes, his dream finally came true. Jason Mantzoukas appears on Gilmore Girls in a scene in which you pointed out
neither Lorelai or Rory in the scene. It's just fucking him and like Alex Kingston, and that's it.
If you haven't seen, like, just go look this up. I think it's on the Gilmore Guys podcast where Jason Mantzoukas tells the story about this pitch that he had for an episode of Gilmore Girls, and
which was an amazing pitch. Like,
yeah,
and honestly, with the spirit of the show, I could have seen it working, but I don't know exactly like what season, like where like it was
fall.
It was during Rory's time in college, but I don't know if they were like if it was like it's like okay, she's a first year, she's a freshman. Like if it was like that early on into her years there, but yeah, like I mean certainly with the way that the show is here for the spring chapter, I mean Rory is just getting ass everywhere.
Not long after the Jason Mantzoukas cameo, she's talking about having a one-night stand with a guy who's dressed like a Wookiee, and my thought was like, whoa, is this actually going to be Jason Mantzoukas' pitch that he made? Or are they finally okay with the concept that he threw out to him? You'll have to go, I don't want to spoil the whole thing, the whole concept that he had for it, but it was very almost kind of Sam Malone-ish in a way, sort of.
Yeah, it's a fantastic pitch. Like I think honestly, even just like because I know a bunch of different sites have it. Like he talked about it on Gilmore Guys, and he talked about it on How Did This Get Made. Yeah, just look for like Mantzoukas like Gilmore Girls pitch. Like you'll find it.
And we got. I was so happy about this because Logan is back in this again, and so is Mitchum Huntsberger.
Just abruptly, catapults himself into a scene.
Mitchum Huntsberger, like one of the only good things about season 7 of this show, because I think you put it like this once, because that's what the show needed, a villain. Yeah.
There's been too many nice things happening for too long. I've had enough of this shit.
And that's just because I just love the actor Greg Henry. So he pops in here at one scene to be Greg Henry for a couple of minutes.
In the middle of them having like Rory and Logan are just having like a normal like lunch at a fancy restaurant. And then in the middle of dialogue, just bam, table like shakes, chair gets dropped down, plop, Mitchum, how the hell are you? Like, oh shit. What's up, Mitchum?
and she and Logan do have good chemistry in this. They do, but Logan Huntsberger is just one of those characters who's very charismatic. He seems like he's one of those guys who, as long as you're not the person he might be murdering off camera, you're probably cool. Like, he's one of those guys you could kind of get along with. Like, as long as you're his buddy, as long as you're close, he's going to be really charming, really charismatic. But he is in the same way that, like, the preppy murderer probably is, you know? Yeah. And with that being said, still more likable than Dean.
I mean, he's somewhere between Billy Zabka and, like, Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
But I mean, ladies they love it. They go for that shit.
Like he seems to genuinely care about Rory. He does. I mean, they get along great. They have good chemistry together because it doesn't seem like he wants to kill her. He's not going to murder her. That's for the hookers and the random homeless people that he probably kills in the alley.
But you know that, like, to every other woman, he's basically like Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
He's just at this part of the Dennis system. He's been working on it with Rory for like 10 plus years.
He just doesn't want to get onto that part where, like, he calls her in the middle of the night, I'm gonna fucking kill you tonight.
Yeah. Like this, remember the scene in American Psycho where they're at the nightclub and he says to the lady bartender, like, I want to stab you to death and play around with your blood. And she doesn't hear it because the music is so loud. I just have a feeling he does that a lot.
Based on everything we've seen from him, I have no doubt that he's done that at least once, just for laughs, and now does it as a thing. Like, that's that's just his thing he does. This is a little quirk when he goes to a new bar to see if somebody hears him.
And again, I would rather her end up with him than Dean. I just would.
But I do have to say though, at least in this so far, like, he is much better written and a much more balanced character than he was in the last season of the show.
No, you're totally right. Like, I've noticed that too.
'Cause, like, in that, like, that whole season, it's like he's constantly like seeming like he's about to do something terrible. Yeah. And that's because he's usually doing something terrible.
Yeah.
Like, he is a horrible person. And to be fair, he's still not a great guy in this. Like,
he is engaged in this.
They confirmed several times that he is definitely engaged to be married, but has no problem with it. I don't know, maybe that's what it is. Like, he seemed like a real like skeezy fuck when, like, he and Rory were like together. Like, had like fucking like side bitches and always like doing like fucked up things. Like, I don't give a fuck what you do. It's like, well, I'll be here. It's like, cool, I'm just gonna fuck off for like a month. Bye. Come back like, hey babe, I mean, come on. And, like, I have to assume that, like, maybe he's just terrible to the person he's actually with, but then, like, really appreciative to, like, all his, like, side bitches.
This is true. He is appreciative of some things.
Because we never actually see any of his relationship with his fiancée, this Odette woman. So, for all we know, he is an absolute monster to this woman.
Like, again...
like, they live in different countries,
which still makes him more likable than Dean, because, like, these two are just engaged. Like, Dean was married, and, like, Lori loses her virginity to this shitbag Dean, like, when he was married, and we saw Dean with his wife, and we saw Dean with Rory, and he's a cocksucking shitbag to both of them.
he's just a terrible person.
I know we'll get to Dean. I'm saving a lot of my Dean stuff until he actually shows up in this. I am. Like, I'm just kind of keeping it in the context of this.
But just for a compare and contrast.
Exactly. Just, like, I'll take any excuse to say, fuck that dude. But you are, like, I was thinking that, too, about Logan in this. Because, but at the same time, he still seems like he's the same guy. Just, if that guy has... aged about 15 more years. But
yeah, like, just kind of cooled as shit because like, he's much more, like, thoughtful and understanding, it seems like, whenever he's talking to her. Like, because half the time, even when they were supposed to be getting along in the last season, like, he always sounds like he's talking down to her, like she's a fucking child. And I'm glad that, like, he's still not doing that. Like, like, he's still, like, has basically the same kind of dialogue, but I think it's a matter of tone and it's a matter of delivery, and it comes across more like he understands their situation. They're both cool with it. Best to not fuck things up. Whereas, like, before, when they were still in college, like, he was just a fucking, like, twit.
It's a frat boy. It's like a charming frat boy, you know.
It's like, I can say shit to you and you're not gonna do anything about it because fuck you.
In this, there's never a moment where I don't think he doesn't care about this person. Like, yeah, he's doing skeevy things, because at the end of the day, whether he's 32 or 18 or 19, he's still the son of Mitchum Huntsberger. I mean,
Yeah.
like, but it never seems like he doesn't care about this person. It's just he still has some faults.
I think honestly, like my opinion about Logan as a whole, I think would be much different if he was written more like this, like actually back in like season 7.
Yeah.
Like if he'd been portrayed like this from the start, like still doing like, you know, questionable shit like this, but it comes across as a little bit more like, because yeah, like he clearly cares about her, and that was kind of the line that got crossed once or twice back in season 7. Is like, it's like there are several moments where it's like he doesn't seem to actually give two shits about her at all. Like he'll just be like in the middle of dinner, like, well, I don't know. Here's $300. I should cover the coffee, and then just like walks off.
Or
it's
like
okay, bye.
He invites her over to his place, but didn't tell her like it was part of some like poker night they were having and things like that.
Yeah,
and,
just always catching her out, so she's always like the odd man out.
Yeah, there was always shit like that, but I was always constantly in my head, like when Logan came into the series, I was still always constantly in my head like, well, I can't hate this guy because he's not Dean, so like I would probably hate him more if I wasn't constantly saying like, well, she's done worse. And also
like that episode though, where like it's just like when Jess comes to visit.
Yeah,
and it's just those like Jess just trying to like reconnect with Rory to see what's going on, and Logan is just determined to have like this weird pissing contest because you're poor and he's not type bullshit. It's like, it's like, you fuck yourself, man. Like, you're better than Dean, but you're not as good as Jess. Like, you can fuck yourself.
Yeah, Jess pulled his shit together. Like, but it did provide probably my favorite Emily Gilmore moment, which was when she went up to Logan's mom, and I don't know if that was season 6 or season 7, but when she went up to his mom and verbally, like, just, I've rarely seen someone just verbally get torn down in a way that Emily Gilmore did Logan's mom.
She has her way.
Holy shit. For Emily Gilmore just in general, and in this tune, and it is one of the most well-written characters on television. This is a character that can 1 minute be just a horror. Just like, you just don't, you feel sorry for anyone who she's the mother of, Lorelai. Like, you just, there are parts where you just, I don't know how they even still see each other. Like, I mean, but then there's moments like that with Logan's mom. There's moments like that. There's moments with her and Richard. There's moments where she's genuinely taking care of Lorelai, mixed in with, it's a incredibly well-written character, because in the wrong hands, a character like that would be unwatchable. In the wrong hands, a character like that would be like fucking Raymond's mom from
I was just about to say, like, it's like, oh, like Ray Romano's mom from Everyone Loves Raymond.
Exactly.
Because like if you push too hard but never give on anything, like you just make that character just an unlikable bitch. Like oh, this is the, you know, yeah, this is like a fucking caricature of how like an overbearing parent is.
Yeah.
But you mix that in with the little, like, just the slightest little nugget, like here and there, to show that like there is some thought put into it. There is some care. Like
it is a person. It is a human being.
In like the first season, like that episode where Rory goes to her Chilton dance and Emily stays at Lorelai's place to take care of her because her back's thrown out. Like, that season needed that, especially like almost more than any other season, because the first like half of the first season, the only times you ever see Emily is when she is being the worst person you could imagine. And then, like, you give her a moment like that where you see, like, she is a goddamn person and she still cares. Like, oh, I made you this all the time when you were a child. It's like, that she's got all these things, but she's just so fucking waspy in her age now that she just can't let anything out.
Or the episode where, what is she eating? She's at Lorelai's and yeah, she's eating like pizza rolls or something, like SpaghettiOs or something like that. Like
Yeah.
like a man witch or something. Like
Something she would
I can't
never
remember.
eat.
Yeah, and it was a great human moment because she's like, "This is downright delicious." Like, I mean, it's
Like
moments like that.
when like Rory is like over there for the evening and the cook's not there, so like she's
Yeah.
like, it's okay, I'll put a pizza in the oven.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this is delightful.
Yeah, this is delightful. Usually, Mom adds some stuff to it. One time, she added codfish, and it was good once we took that off. Oh, speaking of cooks, there's one part in this in Spring.
Cameo.
Rachel Ray is in this for a scene, and so she was playing herself.
Rachel Ray as Rachel Ray.
I don't know if I liked that.
And it makes me wonder, because I honestly don't know. The chef in the first episode, like that sushi chef or whoever he was.
Yeah.
I have to wonder now in hindsight if he was also a celebrity chef. I don't know him
Good
from
point.
fucking anybody, but
Yeah.
It's basically, you know, like, oh, here for like the dragonfly. Like, since Suki's gone, it's like, who could fill her shoes? I don't know. Celebrity chef's probably the only option.
I don't like that kind of...
Like, it's either got to be her or someone who has their own show on the Food Network. It's like, it's
Yeah.
the only way we could go. You know, you're just gonna hire some guy, like, you know, a fucking, like, throw out like throw out an app on like Indeed and get hired. Like, no, you've gotta come with the goods.
Like, suddenly Gordon Ramsay's gonna, like... that's... And maybe that's just personal taste for me, because one of my least favorite tropes on sitcoms or any kind of show is, have you met my friend, a celebrity? Like,
It's like,
I
oh
can't
man,
stand
the
that.
entire starting lineup for the Harlem Globetrotters. What are you doing here?
If there's some kind of satire to it or something like that, then I'm cool with it. Like, or some kind of believable context, and that can be kind of difficult. But at least if there is some kind of joke about it, or a level of satire, not like, yeah, like there was an episode of King of the Hill where he was related to like someone from ZZ Top. There was the worst New Girl episode,
Well,
the Prince one.
The show Bones
Mm-hmm.
did that same thing. Like, one of the main characters on it, like halfway through like one of the seasons, like, it's like, oh yeah, no, we can't like invite my dad. Like, why? It's like, oh well, he's on tour. Like, really? He's like, it's like, yeah, he's like, and he's like one of like I don't know his name. Like, one of the beard guys from ZZ Top. Like, that's her dad. Like, he comes on the show several times after that as her dad.
Really? Do you remember? Did you ever hear
It's
about?
like, why? Why did that need to be the thing that happened?
There was a fucking episode of, I think, CSI where there was a murder on set of like 2.5 Men, and so they have to interrogate like Sheen and
John
Cryer. Yeah, thank you, fucking Ducky. Yeah, they have to interrogate or some shit like that. Look, I don't know. I didn't see that episode, so maybe it's amazing.
That's a weird crossover that no one was asking for.
Right. What? Okay. Like, apparently that happened in television history. We got that sweet CSI 2.5 Men crossover.
But yeah, it's like sometimes like I don't mind when like celebrities want to do like a cameo on something.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like, because back when Alias was on,
mm-hmm.
I think it's in like season 2 or season 3 or something. Quentin Tarantino
Oh yeah.
does like a 2 or 3 episode arc, and
But he's not playing himself.
Yeah, no,
He's-
like he was playing like a Tarantino character from a Tarantino movie,
Yeah.
but he wasn't just like there as like, oh hi, I'm director Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, celebrity guest, fine. We grew up with sitcoms. You just kind of get used to that, and that's fine. Like fine. We were talking Friends last week. That happened all the time on Friends. There
Well,
was
especially like the epic like crossover event that they had like with Friends and ER. And
there's no Wiley and George
Yeah.
Clooney. Yeah, there was that.
So you got used to seeing stuff like that, but yeah, when a celebrity shows up just as themselves,
I don't like it.
It's and especially on a show like this where it basically implies that like the only person who could possibly fill the shoes of this person, and all like Rachel Ray is like talking like, oh man, Suki like set this place up so good. It's like she's like envious of like the setup that she did at a fucking like bed and breakfast in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut.
See, they got they have some celebrities there now, though. Like, there's Rachel Ray there. There's a great scene in the episode where they're talking about how Woodbury has all the A-list celebrities because they're making a movie over there, and so Stars Hollow is getting like the B-level celebrities. Like, there is some great like Taylor stuff in this episode that deals with that. Also, trying to put together a gay pride parade.
It turns out we just don't have enough gays.
We only have like 3 gays. We have to borrow some from Woodbury.
Fucking Gypsy throwing mad shade at him too. Like, really? There's not anyone else?
Taylor?
Not
Really?
one person? Anybody? It's like, nope.
No.
Well, there you have it.
There's still a more amazing Kirk stuff in this too. His short film, which was like every short film I saw when I was in that Art Institute of Chicago video course. It's like, I'm not one to talk. I made a thing like that too.
But yeah, it's like everybody who like, it's like, okay, I'll take a film studies class. Watch like 2 or 3 Bergman films. I'm like, I got it.
Yeah. With a pig, and you see like I want to see that whole fucking movie that he made.
Yeah, I really want to see the full thing of this. Like, it's like half the movie is them facing away from the projector while Luke yells at his phone.
Which was great too. And I love that they're having Eraserhead night. Like, is this the one time they're not watching The Yearling? They're watching Eraserhead.
Like, it's such a weird movie. But then it's nice because then you get like, Kirk up there in his suit and his tall fucking hair.
Maybe having Blue Velvet night would be a little too on the nose. Stars Hollow. Or Twin Peaks.
And they're like, what? This is just an ear. Like, what would you do if I found it? I wouldn't do that. Like, you don't touch it. You just leave it there.
The great scene where Lorelai is watching History of Violence. I'm surprised Luke hasn't seen that, and that it's also not his favorite movie. It's like,
yeah, like, this is the sort of movie I assumed that Luke Danes would like.
Yeah.
Although they do raise a very good point. They're like, it's like, this is practically the same character.
Exactly. It's practically, that he envisions stuff like this in his head all the time.
Except when Luke's jumping over the counter and beating someone to death and then shooting someone else. It's like, it probably has less to do with people like trying to kill him and more just like
they brought a cell phone in the diner.
Oh my god, this guy with the fucking crepes. I don't have crepes. I just
Right. I know there's going to be something that we've forgotten to talk about. I know there is, but thank God we got 2 more of these. We'll remember it for next time.
Yeah, if we forget, we'll come back.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. It's not like when we forget something in the regular midnight screenings and we have to wait for the sequel to come out 2 years later.
It's like, oh shit, remind me to talk about this. We got shit lined up once they finally make the third, like fucking Maze Runner. Like, oh man, I'm just ready for it.
Yeah, now we can forget everything we forgot to talk about in the Scorch trials.
It's like, wasn't there? It's been like 3 years now. I fucking know.
I loved what, I loved what you said when Rory had that interview with that, like, BuzzFeed type place, and I can't remember the actor's name, the one from Bunheads, what was it she said? She was saying something fucking pretentious assy, like, here we type out word honey.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're just like a big collective here. Like, there's no titles, there's no offices, just everyone just buzzing around our little hive making word honey. I'm like, kill yourself.
You were next to me. I just hear you go, ugh. And I saw to this too. The funniest part about that is this is the second time you've seen this, so you still had just a genuine reaction to that, as if it was the first.
Such a dumb fucking thing. It's the same reaction I have inside anytime I hear somebody say, like, I don't know, I just don't adult well. It's like, go die. Like, I just hate that phrase.
Mm-hmm. If I hear somebody say a word and I feel like they've just learned it on their word of the day calendar, like 8 out of 10 people who say the word apropos.
Like, I'm saying this apropos of nothing, but
I know what was on your calendar today.
Sat there all morning trying to figure out how you say that word, didn't you? Good on you. You got it.
Used to hear that word a lot in the early brewhouse days. God.
It's like I'm assuming that Dave probably punches somebody every time he hears the word Kafka-esque.
Well, I've got to test that theory out now.
Just say it about something dumb, like go over there, they're watching like Doctor Who or something. I don't know, this episode's very Kafka-esque, and just... What? Get the fuck out! Just watch him have like a little mini aneurysm.
Just say this. Yes, this episode is very Dennis Dugan-esque. I'm getting a real Sean Levy-esque vibe from this. Say it in front of Dave. The fuck? Asshole.
But
Damn, I should have said that about Moonlight earlier.
I would just say one of my favorite things, though, to come out of this episode is during the Chilton part.
Yeah.
Paris is having a little bit of a meltdown and does just this sweet fucking spin kick into a door.
That was sexy.
It's like I like Paris.
Me too.
Like, she's my fucking jam on that show. And then just in the middle of like this heated like meltdown, she's screaming and throwing out all kinds of shit. Somebody starts to open the bathroom door and just in heels without a second thought, spin kick, bam, nails the door shut, and then just holds it like, God damn.
That was perfect. That was almost like that wasn't supposed to happen and she improvised.
He said it's like, on a 3 count, we'll get to here. Someone will yell, Mark, and then close the door. And she thought, you know what? Fuck it. Van Damme time. I'm going to JCVD this door shut.
God, I want to see her in an action movie. Fucking amazing. If they can't get Jolie back for Salt 2.
That female Expendables they keep talking about.
Yeah.
She could be the Kelsey Grammer of their group.
Yeah. It's in one of the best parts of the movie. Expendables 3. Piece of shit, but the Kelsey Grammer part was good. Alright, so any final thoughts about this one?
No, I mean on the whole, like it's a really solid episode. There are, more so than in the first episode, there are a few more jokes in this one that kind of fall flat. And I think part of it might be due to the fact, like, this one is written and directed by Amy Sherman Palladino's husband. So it's, I don't know, it kind of has like that. I'm not gonna. I would far and away from saying like that, like with some movies, like when it's a follow up that has none of the original people attached to it.
Sure.
Like, it doesn't feel like it's like a fan fiction tie-in sort of thing.
No, it doesn't feel like season 7.
But I don't know, just like some of the jokes feel like there was a cleaner, like crisper way that it could have been done, but a few of the jokes just flat. Like there is one early joke, like while they're at like the like International Food Day out of like the town square, that I can't even remember what the joke is, but it's a terrible joke. But then the like second punchline to it is like, you know, Rory actually calling out, yeah, that was a bad joke. Like, we're with you in that. As
I can't even remember.
Yeah, it was some really bad, just throwaway joke, but it was there basically a terrible joke to set up Rory, basically like kind of hitting on the fact that it was a bad joke. Makes it funny again. I'm okay with that. But then like the scenes like any of that scene with Rachel Ray and her just talking this
totally
was god awful.
That was
like she talks with her hands like she's trying to cast a fucking spell. Like I don't know what she was doing.
That you do when you're
like
not...
she was in a rave or something. But yeah. It was like that sort of like
when you're not a professional actor.
Like you can be in front of a camera all day on a cooking show, but when you're just standing there and you're not doing anything, it's like hands were just moving constantly. It's like no one gave her the notes to like maybe do it once or twice, but then put your fucking hands down.
Yeah.
Because she just talks the whole time like this. And I mean, okay, fair. I know a few people that do that, like talk with their hands a lot, but it was...
To a point. Not as much as that, I don't think.
But yeah, it was preposterous. It's like if she didn't move her hands every 3 seconds, like something bad was going to happen. Like... she's cursed and like she has to do this every 5 minutes, you know, otherwise like her grandma dies or some shit.
I didn't notice really the only thing that really didn't land for me was the Rachel Ray part, but other than that,
Michelle's
he's never been one of my favorite characters anyway.
But it's still like the little scene where granted all of his dialogue and it was really bad anyway. They just make him like super fucking whiny, even more so than
and that's saying something.
But like the scene where he's like handing off like those free weights to that like B-level actor.
Yeah.
Where, you know, like the whole thing is like, it's like, oh, we didn't have a gym, so I brought these from home. And it's like, oh, these are kind of light. I'm kind of used to working with big dumbbells. He's like, me too.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a lazy crap joke.
No, it is. I agree with that, but in terms of anything that character says, because he's really never been one of my favorites, he's just kind of consistently the same person every time you see him. And if you like that character, then fine. Like, you'll probably consistently like him because he doesn't really ever change. He's just kind of there to throw out stuff like that. So no, his stuff wasn't really landing for me, but it often kind of doesn't with him. So in my head, I was like, well, if you like his character, then... Yeah,
and at least he's only in a couple scenes, but like...
Yeah.
Like, just the fact, like, that's basically what that scene opens on, and then that segues immediately into the Rachel Ray part. And it makes that, like, 5-minute long section there at the Dragonfly just feel like it's going on forever.
I was worried in that scene that there would be too much of him in this, kind of like how, like, Winter was pretty Kirk heavy.
Yeah, I kind of shown that spotlight on him.
Yeah, I was a little worried. I was like, I kind of hope they don't do that with Michel, because he's just not one of... It isn't like I groan every time he's on screen. He's just not one of my favorite characters. But, so, really, he's not in it again after that one scene. So I was like, phew. Well,
but that's like, pretty much, like, after that scene, like, the next time we really see him is, like... Well, we don't even see him again. Like, he's referencing it later, and it's like, oh no, he's on, like, vacation.
Good. Thank God. Yeah. Michelle was on vacation. That's right. Yeah. And as far as the part, like, at the beginning with the whole, like, International Food Fair and everything, I didn't notice the joke, but the thing about the show is that everything is so fast-paced and so quick that if something in a scene like that maybe doesn't necessarily land, I kind of forget about it fairly quick, because the dialogue is so fast-paced.
And yeah, like, and there's plenty here, like, this one almost, I mean, it kind of jumps around all over. Like, there is a lot that happens in this episode.
Quite a fucking bit. which is why when we started this, I'm like, I know there's going to be some stuff we forget to talk about, but also I was really loving that scene at the food fair thing, because Springfield kind of had a little something like that. For years and years and years, Springfield did a thing called the Ethnic Festival. That's what it was called.
Which, to be fair, off to a bad start.
And it was like that, except a little more shanty-towny, but like, we would go to it all the time. They actually still have it, like, in the state fair. A lot of the stuff, some of the stuff that you'll see us eating in some of the fair videos are from that area. You can kind of maybe see it in the background a little bit, but a few weeks after the fair, they used to do this annual thing called the Ethnic Festival, where it was that you would go there and there would be just different countries with different.
Oh yeah, I remember just basically going there like, oh,
it was good,
like a Mexican Coke and like, you know, like some like jerk chicken from the like Jamaican booth, and then I'll sit here and watch like a junior high kid like karate tournament.
Yeah,
it's like just a weird day.
Attendance started getting really down, so they discontinued it after like a lot of years. I remember that when I was a kid. I remember being a kid and that thing was going on. It was kind of a real bummer when they stopped doing it. But, I mean, it's still there during the fair. But they have all of these booths set up and everything. And it's like, you know, France, Jamaica, all of that. And then beer. As if it's a country. And it's the brightest colored one there.
And even then, like, most of the beers they have, domestics.
Yeah, it's so shitty. Except for that, we got that great ginger beer that one time. That was really good. I don't even think we got it from that shack. I think it was at the Jamaicans. I think it was at the Jamaican shack.
Actually, I think that. But yeah, it's an odd little festival, but yeah, I kind of missed that because, like, them doing it, it's like, aww.
I know, right? When Lorelai looks at that garbage trough, like, well, this looks really good. Mom, that's the trough.
Like, that's the compost heap. Like,
it did look really good.
I was confused, however, because, like, most of the compost in there was just heads upon heads upon heads of lettuce.
Yeah.
And, like, 20 or so eggplants. Like, whole eggplants. Like, did someone just get there and be like, look, Jackson, man, I'm not gonna fucking, like, I know I'm doing, like, the Greek stand, but I am not frying up all these fucking eggplants. Compost.
Yeah.
Lamb skewers, and, like, that's fucking it.
Someone will pour ranch dressing on this and eat it. Probably me. All right. Same time next week.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me. It's a date.
Oh, shit.
I'll bring the flowers.
I just realized next week is when it's supposed to be like 11 degrees.
Lovely. Well, I'm going to be in Chicago in the middle of next week, so maybe it'll be warmer when I get back.
Yeah, that's how winter works, right? Assuming you come back in like April.
Hey, look, man, this crossover is running a little long.
It's like, how long is this thing? Like, we're on like part 87.
Yeah. I am way behind on work. Fuck. See ya.